And then remain standing, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you please remain standing? We'd like to take a moment of silence in remembrance of the late Gregory Burns and Andrew Siegfried. Gregory is 11th grader at this high school who passed away suddenly, and Andrew graduated in 1997. But I'd like you to take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. With that said, Mrs. Schaefer, would you take the roll call, please?
Ms. Bellotti? Ms. Fisher?
Here.
Mrs. Hess?
Here.
Mrs. Holzberger?
Here.
Mrs. Ellison? Mrs. Mandarino?
Here.
Mr. Myers?
Here.
Mr. Riley?
Present.
Dr. Volcano?
Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
There's one thing we need to add to this. We have an addendum in front of us. Does everyone have it in front of them? I would like to put that under personnel. It's a memorandum of understanding between Teamsters Local 773 and the Eastern Area School District. With that said, can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? So be it. Minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Let's move to 4. Presentation. Mrs. Guidry.
Hello, everyone. I've done an update tonight for the budget, some information that we have not talked about in the past. We still are where we were on April 13th, and that's the next slide that you have there. The 2012 budget at $140,598,211, and the revenue at $127,846,605, leaving us a shortfall of $12,751,000. The dollar change there for revenue is less, $2,600,000 less, and expenditures at $9,056,000 more. Can I have the next slide, please? This is the budget comparison, and the totals at the bottom are for the 10-11 budget at $131,522,399, and the current and next year's budget at $140,598,000. The net change that $9,075,000. The percentage change is 6.9%. If you look back at the employee benefits, the largest increase is at 26.53% for employee benefits. The major portion of that is the PSERS rate going from 4.76, I believe, to 8.65. The other one is other purchase services, and we're seeing some increases there for, and one of them was pointed out last time, is the increase in the IU transportation. Decreases in general supplies, and I have Tim Case's department at custodial maintenance to thank for that. They cut out a lot of supplies there that they thought that we could do without. Interest expense going down 12.36%, and debt service at 19.79%. We are seeing a decrease in excess of $200,000 for one particular bond issue that we were able to look at the interest and decrease that. And the budgetary reserve going down $600,000 from $1 million to $400,000. Next slide, please. Put together some numbers for you. The total enrollment at the district is 9,010. Special ed at 1,307 is 14.5% of our total enrollment. Gifted at 361. And then we came back and looked at English as a second language at 508, which is 5.64, and the primary home language other than English at 1,536. I asked for a top 5 languages Spanish, Punjabi, Vietnamese, Chinese, and Arabic. Those are our top 5 on both categories. Next slide, please. Charter school expenditures for the 09-10 year totaled $1.7 million. I put an X there in the column for those that are cyber schools, and you can see that we have a low of $2,846, and I believe the highest is at $370,600 to Lehigh Valley Academy Regional. Next slide, please. Charter school funding for the 10-11 school year for regular ed students is $10,053 per student. For special ed students at $18,923. We have total payments made for the 10-11 school year as of today's date of, for charter schools, $396,000, and for cyber schools, $629,000, for a total of $1,025,000. We have outstanding for charter schools and cyber schools, $466,000. It looks like we're going to have about $1,500,000 this current year for what we have spent. The budget there, total tuition payment budgets, tuition to other school districts, $307,000. Charter and cyber schools, we have budgeted $1,006,000. Non-public schools, $385,000. Tuition to CIT at $1,987,000. Private residential homes there, $197,000, and other tuition, $1,085,000, almost $5.6 million there for tuition budget. Then I started looking at the medical that I perhaps have not given you all that information. We have total employees of 1,233. This was from, and I have to go back and look and see what that date was. The date for the report was, I think, December 09 to November of 10. Employees 1,233, and the members, meaning those dependents that will be covered, in a total of 2,882. In the PPO, we have 84% of our employees enrolled, and traditional at 16%. That number it continues to go down, the traditional, as more people go over to the PPO. Next. Claims paid summary. If you look at the first column there, we see from 2006, 2007 down to 2010, 11, which is our current estimate. We have $7.4 million for an enrollment of 1,095, and the annual dollars were then $6,735. You can see the increase has gone up. 07, 08, 9, 10 at $8,891 per individual, or per member, I should say. And then the 2010-11 estimate is at almost $12.2 million for enrollment of $1,197, and the annual dollars there are $1,186. And I believe I stated that it was member. I believe that it is covered individuals to the plan. Next slide, please. The top facility that is used here for members of the district is Easton Hospital. They're in our network. They're convenient. The highest member usage in the top 5 factors influencing health status, and that means the wellness. Those visits that you go to get the blood pressure checked, those yearly checkups, that is the highest member usage. 11.7% of our members had no medical expense, and 28.9 members had no pharmacy expense. Now, it doesn't mean they're not sick or that they don't need medication. It just means that there was nothing turned into the plan or no charges that were made to our plan. The next page that I have, the information outstanding, the homestead exclusion funding, that is due for us to come in next week. Last year it provided for a little bit over $200 per tax bill. We're still finalizing the list of retirements, salary and benefit estimates, And included in that is medical cost funding. Our meeting for that is next week, and we're looking at whether what we have in the budget is sufficient to fund medical for next year, or whether we can reduce what we have estimates there. The information that's provided will include for the homestead exclusion the number of properties, the people who have applied for homestead exclusion funding. So where we're at last time for the 13th, however, we still continue to look. And some of the items that we're continuing to look at are whether we have salary freezes, which we're discussing, or changes to our union contracts. So we will be looking at those and providing an update as we go forward. Questions?
Who determines that cyber or the charter school funding goes up, that the allotment goes up? Is that the,
That's something from our financial statements, our annual financial report. The numbers are taken from that, and the calculation is made on a particular form that the PDE provides to us. Based upon our expenditures for the prior year, that's how it's determined whether the funding goes up, and whether students are in those particular schools.
so the per pupil allocation is somewhat locally determined?
Absolutely. It's locally determined by the information that's on our annual financial report.
Jen, next time, bring your mic a little closer so
I'm
we
sorry,
can hear
just speaking.
you. All right?
I don't know if I stretch.
Okay, anybody else have any questions for Mary?
Thank you.
Thank you. We're getting ready to move to interested citizens, but before we do that, I'm going to make a short, brief statement. Many of you might be here tonight because you've read the newspaper, and last night, as of last night, a few members of the board and the union have talked. So we have yanked reductions off the table until we can talk to our side and they can talk to theirs. With that being said, understand that we are working together in one direction to make this district sound and moving down the right path to keep everybody employed and keeping the doors open. Now, we will move into interested citizens on agenda items now. If you are, please come up, sign in, and let us know. All right? Thank you.
I signed in. My name's Kathy Austin. I had to come about the budget. I did read what's in the paper. I've been following it somewhat closely. I'm glad you guys are working to meet with the union. I also think the union needs to come a little closer to you guys and meet in the middle. But I wanted to come and express my opinion as a mother. I was here last year ranting and raving. My son is heavily involved in the sports. I have to say this year he has come tremendously. His confidence is at an all-time high. He's wrestling. He was wrestled for the white team that you guys didn't save, and Mr. Powell managed to. He is now out there finding tournaments. He's scheduled to do 9 tournaments this summer because he stuck with it. Gomer, Powell, they all noticed what he's doing, and he takes tremendous pride in that. And you guys have to know that there's kids coming up behind him that are seeing that need those programs to keep their confidence high. Because not everything is peachy keen at everybody's house, and we all know that. The football team is huge for him last year. He came into his own, and that's what we need. My daughter, who is struggling so hard in school, she's going into 5th grade next year. She's at a 3rd grade reading level, and she's been in Easton since kindergarten. She has really bad reading problems. She has so many teachers behind her this year. She's getting there. She's almost at a 4th grade reading level, but she's still 2 years behind. You can't cut these special ed programs for these kids. You can't cut their sports back. You guys gotta work together, and this goes for the union as well. They need to work with you. You guys need to come together as a family and support these children and make sure that their educations are better and make sure they can go further in life than just Easton. Thanks a bunch.
Before we go any further on this, we pulled that item off the agenda. So if you're going to come talk about budget cuts, you're going to have to wait to the end of the meeting because that's when non-agenda items will be addressed. Right now, we are dealing with agenda items. That is not on the agenda. So you understand? Can everybody understand what I'm saying by that right now? That is a non-agenda item. So let's deal with the things that are on the agenda tonight. Okay, anybody else is next? on agenda items?
Hi, so my name is Jeffrey Holtz. I live in College Hill. And so am I to understand that I cannot raise questions about funding for the Easton Public Library?
Until the end of the meeting on non-agenda items. That's what that would be.
Okay, so what are the items that we can raise?
The agenda items. Did you pick up an agenda?
I did.
Well, that's what we're going to discuss right now. Agenda items.
Okay, I'll wait for the end of the meeting.
Thank you. If nobody has anything else on the agenda item, we'll move on to student principal representative. And I guess my first one would be Mr. Bernard England.
Good evening. Bernard England, 1116 Wood Avenue. I've always wanted to say that. The next week and the next month is going to be pretty busy for us at the high school. First up, we're going to have the prom. It'll be Saturday, May 14th. It'll be from 7 to 11. At 6:30, we're going to start picture taking, and then from 7 to 8 is going to be like our buffet kind of thing. From 8 to 11, that's when the dance will be. It'll be at Holiday Inn in Foglesville, and then right after it'll be post-prom, and people have to start attending post-prom at 1. You have to be in the building at 1. You can't leave until 5. Our theme this year is All of the Lights, and we're pretty ready for that at this point. Graduation is up after that, and we're just starting our commencement practices and everything. We're working on speakers and the setup and things like that, and especially platform guests. Then our senior picnic will be June 17th from 11 to 3 at Penn Pump Park in Palmer. We're going to have like shrimp, hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, pretzels, and knickknacks and paddywhacks, and games like volleyball and softball. We're also going to have our Prince and Princess dance next Friday, which is going to be the second to last day of our Spirit Week, and I'll speak on that next. And that'll be at 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure it's here. But while I'm on the topic, we'll speak about our Spirit Week. This year, we're going to try and rekindle the flame that we had way back. I have no idea when it was. Mr. Cuck said he had it back in his day. Who knows when that day was? Next week, we're going to have a community day, which usually for community day, we're going to try and speak about things in the community, like people that do a lot of things for us and a lot of organizations, things like that. Then we're going to have an elementary school day. We're going to wear all the colors that we wore back in 1st through 4th grade. College day, all the seniors are going to wear the colleges they're going to. AAG day, you're going to wear all your AAG t-shirts, which will lead to that Saturday, which AAG, that's when the event is, May 7th. And that Friday, next Friday, will be EAHS day. But on AAG, we're going to honor Lauren's first and goal in Angel 34. This year, our goal is to try and reach $5,000. So just hope you guys kind of donate so we can try and reach that goal. Also, next week, we're going to have a Special Olympics out in Liberty, just the track and field one. And we have 50 volunteers at this point, so we're going to hope a lot of people can show up to that. Also, Veterans Day. The Memorial Day will be Saturday, May 28th. We have a Gettysburg student reader, which will be Nick D'Annunzio. The national anthem will be sung by Ian Murphy, and then our buglers will be Chris Ballantyne and Tyler Drago. And for the Blue Jeans for Babies Dress Down Day, which was April 15th, we had over 300 t-shirts sold and over 100 pins, and we raised $2,000 with that. And the Lehigh Valley March of Dimes walk, which is April 17th at Dorney Park, we walked about 3.5 miles, and we raised over $2,000 and had 85 free Dorney Park passes handed out. So the next month and things that we've done so far, it's been pretty hectic, but we'll be all right. But thank you.
Thank you, Bernard.
Anytime.
Principal Representative Joe Nicholson.
I'm not principal, PTA.
I mean PTA.
I've been promoted.
Yeah, I gave you a little lift.
Actually, I think I'm suffering from senioritis from listening to Bernard. I remember those days. Anyway, good evening. I have my post-prom t-shirt tonight. Guess I should hold it up for the nice camera. See, everybody can see it. The Easton Area High School PTSA would like to thank Mrs. McGinley and Mr. First for helping to organize the first district-wide dress down day in support of the PTSA and post-prom. And a huge thanks to everybody in the district who did participate last Wednesday, whether they wore one of the lovely t-shirts or they just dressed down. It was really nice to see everybody coming together to support this huge event. As Bernard said, the prom is the 14th, post-prom starts after. It actually, our funding starts before because we do bus students to the prom. But the prom continues, the post-prom continues into the wee hours of the 15th. Everything's in place, but we could always use more volunteers or donations of food, prizes, or money. If anyone's interested, let me know. I'll put you in touch with the right people. I know it doesn't sound all that appealing, staying up till 5 a.m., but it's fun, and the students really appreciate it. See? Anyway, Easton Area Council PTA was awarded a Friend of Education Award from the Easton Education Association for support of excellent communications between our schools and community. Thanks go out to them. It's always nice to be appreciated. We even got a nice plaque. Maybe now next year someone will give us a wall to put it on. We can hope. Roverfest is coming up Saturday, May 21st. It will be 4 to 8 p.m. at the high school campus. There are about 28 clubs, boosters, and PTAs participating. There'll be lots of food and entertainment. Everyone in the community is welcome, and we're hoping this will soon be an annual event. Several of our PTAs, along with the League of Women Voters, are sponsoring candidate forums for the school board. Tracy Elementary and Palmer Elementary are sponsoring a Region 1 forum. It will be Wednesday, May 11th at the Palmer Community Center at 7 p.m. Cheston is sponsoring a Region 2 forum, and that will be Monday, May 9th at Cheston Elementary. I will get these up on the news flash, Mrs. McGinley, if that's okay. I'll send that in so people can just go to the website and get those details. 5 of those hot seats are up on the up in the coming election, so everyone's encouraged to come and find out more about the candidates. By the way, you brought your chairs with you. I felt so bad for you last year. You had those really awful, uncomfortable ones. But I got to say, don't be too comfortable tonight, because some of us have to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow for a wedding. So anyway, I had to say it. Our final council PTA meeting of the year is Monday, June 6th at Shawnee Elementary. As always, they're open to the public, and everyone is welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. That was an executive decision to make sure we were comfortable tonight. Now we'll go with the principal's representatives. Mr. McCauley, it's you tonight.
Thank you. I thought you'd say something about I look better, Ms. Nauman, last week. We swapped because of events at our schools. I'm representing the elementary in 5 and 6, and we don't have much this month because April was a month where the schools were involved in the PSSA testing, and we didn't have a lot of things then at night, and also with the spring break. However, we're fired up again, and Mr. Steckel asked me to share with you that the students and teachers at Tracy yesterday held their art and literature fair, and today they're actually doing their science fair, and the Tracy family is excited to share that great work that their students are doing. A little plug for my school, tomorrow night we have our annual PTA variety show. It's sponsored by the PTA. We are showcasing 48 of our students. It's a Broadway theme. Each child has 2 minutes. They can either sing, dance, or perform instruments. It's a fun night. It's free. It's open to the public, and it's at 7 o'clock, and that's happening at Forks. And just finally, speaking for all the principals, we want to keep you up to date that we're trying to get into all the classrooms on a daily basis to monitor the student learning and teaching of our teachers and staffs. And this year, we're using a program called iObservation, which actually we can record all the data and use in the future and analyze as a district. Other than that, thank you very much, and have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. McCauley. I don't see, is Mr. Whitman here, our secondary principal representative? Okay, so we don't have that. With that said, we're going to move on to reports and actions. Number 7 first is superintendent's report.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the PTA and embrace them for everything they have done and continue to do for our students in our community, and also recognize their Friend of Education Award. That is a great tribute for what you do for us every day. In addition, I'd like to thank everyone that participated in the post-prom event with the sale of the t-shirts. It was a wonderful collaboration, and it's very important for our students, so I thank you. And I also encourage anyone that can participate to please do so, as it is a worthy cause. In addition, I would like to recognize Dr. Phyllis Finger and all of our staff members and also our parents and our students for Odyssey of the Mind. This year, our middle school had a wonderful, wonderful turnout. And next month, I've asked them if they can come and do their presentation. It's not a long presentation, and they will do it at our board meeting in May. Another part of our report today was supposed to be our Sodexo food service report, and Mr. Kish was supposed to give that. He is unable to be here as he's not feeling well tonight, so we will do that in May. And the next recognition that I would like to make is for Christopher Stepanski. He has achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. So on behalf of myself and our board, our administration, and all of our staff, congratulations. What a wonderful
It's a rather long table. With that said, we're going to move on to B, Business Manager.
Good evening again. I'm going to report first on the employee wellness and safety. On June 3rd, employees will be showing support by participating in the March of Dimes, Blue Jeans for Babies. Also on June 3rd, the Employee Wellness Committee and the
Marie,
Eastern Area.
you want to get closer to the mic? They can't hear.
Okay,
you.
try it again.
All right, there you go.
Should I start at the beginning again?
Yep.
Okay. On June 3rd, the employees will be showing their support by participating in the March of Dimes Blue Jeans for Babies. On June 3rd, also, the Employee Wellness Committee and the high school's Future Business Leaders of America will once again join forces to raise funds and awareness for pediatric cancers through Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. This will be the 4th year that the FBLA has been involved in this charity, and the second for the employees. Last year, over $3,800 was raised. Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation began in 2000, and since then has raised more than $30 million to help in fighting pediatric cancer. Thank you to Ann McIntyre and Dee Dara, working with Carol Hall to update the wellness and safety link on the district's website. Not only is there wellness and safety tips, there is the school district's policy regarding wellness and safety. Also, there's a listing of members of the school district's Pennsylvania Certified Safety Committee. Please take the time to look at this valuable resource. The next item I want to report on is employee safety. For the month of March, there were 34 workers' compensation claims filed, 23 record only, 11 medical, and no lost wage reports. 6 were attributed to fall or slip injuries, 2 struck by students, 1 striking against an object, 1 heat exposure, another one striking against an object, 1 strain or injury by lifting, and 22 environmental issues were reported. The next report is the Northampton County Tax Collection Commission, met today with about 40 members of the 46 municipalities and school districts represented at that meeting. The purpose of the meeting was to define the necessary steps in order to implement county-wide earned income tax collection by a Keystone Collectors, which will be effective January 1st, 2012. I anticipate that we will have the resolution regarding that for our to implement that. That will be on our May or June agenda. Questions? Thank you.
Okay, with that, we move on to our solicitor.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. I have no public report tonight, but I believe this is my first regular board meeting, and I'm very happy to be here, and particularly looking forward to learning how to access my board doc account.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Okay. Association report. And who are we speaking tonight? Glenda? Well, they left you behind.
Glenda Kello, representing the Easton Area Education Association.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Closer to the mic? Usually people can hear me. All right. First of all, I'd like to thank the board again for continuing to talk to us in good faith. It means a whole lot. And also for waiting to put forth the cuts that we anticipated would be tonight. So we're hoping that we can continue to work together toward an agreement that works out for both parties. Again, thank you. I want to also say congratulations to Friends of Ed, because our PTSAs have always been so essential in what goes on here with the kids. We know that there's really been some very difficult economic times, and they've come forward to help supplement a lot of the things that we do in our schools. All the needs of our kids. They provide valuable materials, they sponsor field trips, they do presentations, they implement programs, and bottom line is they show that they care and they're concerned for our kids. So again, they're a source of constant support, so thank you so much. In addition, I'd like to say that we also had a very nice response from our staff in regards to the post-prom t-shirts. So we're good with that. I hope it all goes well for you guys and it's a safe evening for everyone and enjoyable. We also had tremendous support for the March of Dimes blue jeans for babies. So again, go team go. Here we go, Jenna. It's all you.
I get to talk, Jenna Broadhead. I get to talk about some of the fun stuff. Thank you for acknowledging the Shave for the Brave event that took place at Easton Area Academy last month. You'll be happy to know that baldness is becoming the latest fad, Mr. Myers, in the Easton Area School District. I'd like to claim it, but you were bald before me. Tomorrow at the middle school, we will be welcoming 6 more bald members into our little club. There's a group of 5 teachers as well as a principal, so Mr. Mason, Mr. Mock, Mr. Wolf, Mr. Hegel, Ms. Bean, and Mr. Warren will all be shaving their heads tomorrow at the middle school. I'd like to give Kelly Bean a little bit of credit to that. Being a man and not having very much hair is socially acceptable. It's a very interesting process to go through it as a woman, so give her a lot of credit for that. Right now we've raised over $8,000 through the sale of Shave for the Brave wristbands honoring David Hurd, as well as brand new t-shirts that are out there. And $8,000 for a little bit of hair is really a great accomplishment. There will also be another shave event in May at Richards Drive in Forks. So something I'm pretty excited about. Also, EAEA this year has revived the team that will participate in the Relay for Life at Metzger Field June 17th and 18th. It's an American Cancer Society event. It lasts 24 hours because cancer never sleeps. And our goal is to help raise money for this foundation and commit 24 hours to helping with the fight. So kind of exciting things going on there. Thank you for your time, and see you soon. Yes, sir.
Where's my bracelets?
You're
slipping.
I gotcha.
I know. She's slipping, though, you know?
I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon, Mr. Myers. What? We have baseball t-shirts that have orange sleeves with a really cool design on the front that says Shave for the Brave and a really cool logo of a child's face on the back.
Yeah.
I'll send you the link so you guys have the pictures. They turned out really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that said, we're going to move on to executive sessions.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Oh, I forgot Helen was
I
there.
know I'm little, but hello. I'm Helen Jones. I'm here representing the bus drivers in Teamster 773. I'm also on the committee to bring down our workman's comp payments, premiums, issues, whatever you want to say. And at our last meeting, we were given a paper with some numbers, and the numbers are coming down. Okay, the costs are coming down because our claims are coming down, which is great because everybody's getting aware of what's going on and what you can do to prevent accidents, okay? Our number one thing, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to turn around and say it for especially the ladies out there, okay? Shoes. One of our big culprits, okay? So if we can really, change our shoes, that would help our claims also. And once again, I'm going to invite all of you if you can, attend one of our meetings, okay? Or the principals of the buildings that we're going into, because we haven't had a principal attend the meeting that we're in their building inspecting neither. Okay, so, you know, we need everybody on board to bring these costs down, and, you know, every penny saved is a help to this district, from what I understand. Okay, and on a lighter note, actually, I've never had the honor, or privilege, should I say, of saying this, that I had a very good meeting with some board members, okay? And that would be Mr. Myers and Mr. Riley. The bus drivers met with them in regards to the financial situation that everybody's in, and it was a very pleasant meeting. So I want to thank you for that, okay? We came to an understanding, and we took a vote. The bus drivers took a vote the other night, and it was voted yes overwhelmingly, okay? I'll tell you straight out, we had 3 people out of all of us vote no, okay? So we all do understand where the district is and where we need to go. So I'd like to thank you, and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to executive reports. And I'm just going to give you dates. On March 24th, March 31st, April 13th, April 18th, April 20th, and April 26th, we met for executive meetings, and various members of the board were there, along with legal counsel, Mr. Blunt, Mr. Freund. At one point, we've had Mrs. Dillman Buckman, Miss Amelia, then we had board members Fisher, Holzberger, Mandarino, Myers, and then we had administrators, I'll be okay, McGinley, McCrivsack, and we discussed these matters. So that's the report you're getting on executive session. Now we're going to move on to new business. Academics, Dr. Roberts.
Motion.
What are we doing?
I make a motion.
Is there a motion on the floor for curriculum renewal cycle?
Yes, sir. Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Obviously, we're not having discussion on that. Then we're moving down to B, student expulsions. Is there a motion?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, we'll take B and C. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll move on to new business. Tentative policy adoption. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Are you call? I'm sorry. Ms. Schaefer, you good to go? Okay. Is there any discussion on the policy? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're going to move down to item number 10, new business personnel. We're going to take this in 2 parts. The first part is approval of Mr. Castrovinci's, and then the addendum has been added to that part, so we'll take that afterwards. So we'll have A and B under new business. Okay? Can I have a motion on A?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we're moving on to B. Bless you, whoever that was. We're moving on to B. It is a addendum, memorandum of understanding with Teamster Local 773. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I would
All
like,
those in favor?
I would actually like
Well,
to.
go ahead, Jen.
Sorry, I think I.
Must be the mirror rings.
I was just wondering, for the sake of clarification, since we have not had, the public did not have an opportunity to see this any sooner, if I could just ask a few questions, maybe Mr. Castrovinci, has this contract already expired?
No, it hadn't.
Okay, and how many?
You're referring to the Teamsters, the bus drivers contract?
Correct.
No, it hadn't.
Okay, and how many years are in this contract?
Currently, there's 1 year left on the present contract.
And what will be the addendum is to extend that contract?
The addendum the memorandum of understanding, actually, that's on the table before the board is to extend the current contract by 1 year.
And are there any raises included in either of those years of the contract extension?
Can't hear you.
Are there any raises included in either this current year or the extended year?
Currently, in the present contract, there's 1 more year, would expire at the end of the 11-12 school year, and there is a 2% increase already built into that approved agreement.
But they've already taken
Correct.
and
I'm just-
frozen
so
that.
what is happening then for the second year and then the extended year?
Well, per the memorandum of understanding before the board, the Teamsters Association, the bus drivers, have agreed to a 1-year wage freeze for the 11-12 school year, so their salaries would stay at the 10-11 levels, and they would add a year to the existing agreement and also freeze for that second year at the 10-11 levels. So basically, the net effect is we would have a 2-year agreement at 10-11 salary levels.
Could you tell me in prior years what sort of raises have that union received in its contract?
The current agreement is a 3-year deal. The first 2, each of the 3 years, there's a 2% increase. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Any other discussion? With that, I move for a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you, Helen, and thank the Teamsters.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to new business. Buildings and grounds. This calls for a motion.
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Buildings and grounds financial matter, Part B. Is there a motion? Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Can't hear.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Financial matters. This is a contract with a DJ for 2 events. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, you caught up to me? You are getting faster. Financial matters, bills and reports. Motion. Second.
Second.
Discussion. If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're going to, 13, we've already done the addendum. Now we're going to move into interested citizens on non-agenda items. Now's the time you can ask the questions and sign in. You got 3 minutes, and we're going to hold you to 3 minutes.
So again, thank you for allowing me to speak, and I apologize for speaking out of order before. So my name is Jeffrey Holtz. I live in College Hill, and I potential budget cuts to the Easton Public Library. And I want to express my extreme concern about the public library being cut. The library has been in existence, to my knowledge, for over 200 years. And this, if you cut its budget, we will do something that has not been done for 200 years. We've managed to fund the public library for many, many years, and I think we can manage to do that into the future. I think that before we cut the budget, we should look at other ways of funding the library if it should not be if it should be in some other pool of money. But I'd rather have that discussion to be had rather than remove the funding. The funding is less than 1% of the total budget, the $140 million. I believe the library budget is $1 million. I'll say this about the library. I go there very frequently. I have a 2-year-old daughter. They have excellent programs. I would say that the Easton Public Library has the best children's library, certainly in the Lehigh Valley, and it's the best children's library that I've ever been to, with a very dedicated staff. I think that as you begin cutting academic programs at the schools, the library becomes increasingly more important to sustaining the academic, intellectual life of our community. And I think that if you cut the library, you will be hurting the poor, the working class, and the middle class of this community. If you come to the library, if you spend time there, you will see that most of the people that are using the library services, many of them, are poor, working class, and middle class. And it's a vital resource. And I'd invite you to come. Please come to the library before you cut the budget, because it's going to have a very adverse effect on our community. I was going to ask members to raise their hands in advance of the budget vote to who's supporting the library, who feels that this is a major priority. I don't mean to put people on the spot. I'm not going to do that, but and I appreciate that. But please do not cut the library budget. Thank you for listening.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Bilza, and I am an 8th grader at Easton Area Middle School. I am in all honors courses, I am in the National Junior Honor Society, and I am heavily involved with several music programs. I am here today to voice my personal opinion on the potential complications of cutting programs. What is the purpose of a school? Most people would all agree that the purpose of a school is to educate students and give them the tools they need to develop into successful adults. However, with the ideas and eliminations you are suggesting, it seems as if you think otherwise, and it seems as if you target those who teach the students. I understand that in financially challenging situations, decisions have to be made, and feelings may have to be hurt. But is laying off teachers and eliminating programs the way to do so? I am currently taking Italian 1 at the middle school, and I, along with many other students, enjoy it. Italian is the 20th most popular language spoken in the world, with about 55 million speakers. Studies show that students enrolled in a foreign language course score better on tests and are more likely to attend college. Doesn't the quote on our district's webpage say, "Educating for life's journey"? My life is not going to go on a journey if these cuts are made, because I won't have the knowledge and preparation to be accepted in. When I meet someone new and I tell them I go to Easton, they either laugh or tell me they feel sorry for me. Our school district is at the bottom of the list in terms of respect. I believe that if we have qualified leaders that could function without running this place into the ground, then we would have a better district. The PSSA scores of our students are extremely low, hence why we are on the watch list. You are going to cut teachers and expect our PSSA scores to continuously improve? You're crazy. Use your common sense and think about the future. It hasn't been released as to what music programs are in danger, but I would like to speak on behalf of all that I am or will be involved in. I was in Easton Area Middle School's 7/8 production of Alice in Wonderland as well as Thoroughly Modern Millie. I have been in chorus consecutively since 3rd grade, and I was in chorale and cantante last year. Theater and arts are my passions, and without the outlet of expression they provide, a part of me and many others is missing. Our high school's musical productions are exceptional year after year after year. Ragtime won the Freddie Award for Best Musical last year, and you want to take that away from us? You want to demolish a program that we excel in? Outrageous. When making decisions about the budget proposal, think of the students. Thank you.
Before we go any further, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. This is going to be a respectful, and I will repeat the word, respectful discussion period. If I feel you're out of line and you're being disrespectful, none of these people up here receive a dime, so they do not need to be trashed or disrespected by anyone, including students. We all are grown, we respect you, we will listen to you, and we expect the same in return. If you're going to get nasty, I'm going to cut you off. So let's get something understood. This is supposed to be a respectful process. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Okay, so I heard that you've been undergoing conversations with the teachers concerning the budget, and I find that very reassuring. But I'm here to voice. Yes, my name's Clarissa Grunwald. But I'm here to voice concerns over Easton's budget in case some of the cuts that have been proposed are actually made. The common view is that the purpose of a school board is to look out for the welfare of the students. This obligation is paramount, and it remains no matter what else is happening politically or economically. You ask for cooperation, for sacrifice, and as students we are willing. But there is a difference between changes that are regrettable but necessary and changes that are altogether unacceptable, a difference between things that some students will miss and things that, mandated or not, some students will be unable to succeed without. For example, it has been proposed that all languages except for Spanish be eliminated next year. This is an unacceptable cut. Most colleges want to see at least 2 years of the same language on a student's application, and many want to see 4. If the language that I chose to take, German, gets cut, I will not get those 4 years. Furthermore, with every new leap in technology, we're coming in closer contact with people of other languages. Companies know this, and people looking for jobs find it a great boon to know a second language, because it puts them ahead of the competition. And still, the world becomes smaller, so soon it might be that knowing a second language, instead of being a great advantage, is a great disadvantage. Then there's the music program. Band, orchestra, and choir take a huge amount of dedication, which the students involved certainly do possess. It is not unusual for someone in the program to consider working part or full-time as a professional musician, for example, or as a music teacher. Now, anyone who wants to major or minor in music cannot just start taking classes in college and learn the art magically. It takes years to master, and music as a business is especially competitive. Without programs in school, the only ones who can hope to succeed will be those whose families have enough money to give them private lessons. And even those that don't have such high goals have their own reasons for needing, not wanting but needing, the music program. Music keeps grades up, increases confidence exponentially, teaches patience, teamwork, and work ethic. For some, music is the only reason to care about school. It is no coincidence that music kids are packing honors classes, winning awards, and helping keep the district's PSSA scores up. Therefore, I urge you to use any means at your disposal to ensure that these vital classes are not put in jeopardy by financial problems. I do not believe that cutting these classes is an ultimatum. I do not think it is an option. It would make it difficult to understand how the school board is fulfilling its obligation to protect the welfare of the students. You ask us to sacrifice, and to a point we will. But ask any student who cares about his school or his future, and you'll find that each one has drawn his or her line in the sand. I'm sure some of you already know these things, and I urge you to understand these boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Drew Anderson. As a homeowner and a taxpayer, I care about education. I care about education, but I also care about the value of my investment, because it takes a tumble if education takes a tumble. But that said, I'm convinced that the board is attempting to take out too much from the hide of the school district teachers. They didn't cause the problem. They should not be the victim of the problem. It needs to come from someplace else, and we're missing that part of the equation. But let me give you some very short, specific examples. If we ask an administrator at $165,000 a year to roll back a salary increase by 5%, that's roughly $8,000. But if you're in the middle of your salary schedule as a teacher, you're giving up approximately 14.1% to achieve the same savings. Now, 14 or 15% is a heck of a lot more than 5%. You're being asked to give up too much. Some of you as teachers need to go back and study English. Now, I never was a very good English major. I was lousy, but some of it is horrible. Let me give you some examples. I've heard the comment, no reduction in force. I guarantee you I can find two different meanings to that statement, and you're not going to like one of them. And I refer you to the Teamsters Union, which is a lot smarter than the teachers. In paragraph 4, it simply says, we're going to maintain the same number of current positions in the bargaining unit. A sixth grader can figure that one out. So why invite problems? A one-year wage freeze. I can come up with two different answers to that statement. You're not going to like one of them. So why invite the debate? Others have commented on we need to have a retirement incentive. Now, I'm all in favor of opening the door and hoping many people run for the door. But you've got so many impediments to running to the door that almost nobody qualifies. Specifically, you can hit the top of the salary schedule in 15 years. You can hit it a lot faster if you come in from the outside and start at step 8. But you have to be here for 25 years before you're allowed to go to the door. If you want people to head to the door, open the door and pray to God that they all run for it. Don't put impediments in front of them. And also, if I get a $100,000 bonus for being age 55 and retiring, it seems grossly unfair to get a zero bonus if I'm age 65. That's what I'm hearing from different people. Now, it costs the school district of Gary, Indiana, over $1.2 million in court costs and fees to do it wrong. I suspect, do it right. Open the door, let people go running out. But I really think we're wrong to ask the teachers to bear the brunt of the burden. Thank you very much.
Keith Rollins, Forks Township. 700 teachers face a possible layoffs between Easton, Bethlehem, and Allentown, okay? But not one single administrator is facing a furlough, okay? Easton administration took a one-year pay freeze while the teachers were offered a pay cut. Where's the fairness there? This is toned down a lot since what I read in the paper this morning. Okay, Paul Blunt steps in to represent the district. I know Paul Blunt. He used to represent the teachers of my district, just not very well. I take offense to the statements he made in the papers. He calls the teachers of Easton unprofessional. All right, I take offense to that. I know a lot of these teachers. Okay, he told the parents of a PTA meeting to stay out of the discussions regarding the teacher's contract that's protected by the Constitution under the First Amendment. It's our right to question our government leaders. The rallying the flyers are things he encouraged teachers to do in Allentown. I'm just wondering when it became unprofessional to care about one's job and kids' education. It was okay for us to do then, but it's not okay for teachers to do now. It seems to me Paul Blunt hasn't really done a very good job for the district. He created more controversy and hypocrisy around here than he's done good. All right, he's made a spectacle of the whole process, but yet he's blaming teachers for caring about themselves. Okay, Mr. Dealey called Paul Blunt a bully. That was hired by the district. Paul Blunt only cares about the bottom line, not the students, teachers, or the welfare of the district, just about his bottom line. He cares about making money for himself at our expense by generating fear. How much is he getting paid? I believe his involvement is a conflict of interest. Finally, the issue of abuse of taxpayer money. How long did it take for somebody to post the attack on Mr. Dealey on the district website? Who paid for it? Taxpayers paid for it. That's an abuse of taxpayer money. I'm calling you out on it. And media, if you'd like a copy of it, I got it at my house. I forgot to bring it with me. Okay, wouldn't it be more constructive for that person to be rather than putting the attack on the website, to be doing maybe something like his job, something that can help us understand the district better? Okay, by the way, I'm still waiting for the public apology to Kevin Dealey. I'll wait. I got 26 seconds left.
Bonsoir, konnichiwa, guten Abend, Goreb Mahakut, good evening. My name is Jessica Luschner, and I'm a senior at Easton Area High School. To me, languages are the most important part of my high school education. When I graduate in June, I will have completed 10 credit hours of languages. 10. That's more than one person can fit into a class schedule per year. In 9th grade, I became the first freshman to ever take French 3 that young after completing French 2 as an independent study over the summer with my mother. After completing French 4, I determined that sadly I could not fit AP French 5 along with 2 AP science classes into my schedule. Instead, I went back to my roots. I'm a third-generation American from Germany, just south of the Rhine River. So I decided to take German as an independent study off my AP chemistry lab, determined to fit 2 languages in per year. Even with changing from French to German, I have kept strong with my studying in Japanese with Sumter Sensei. I've never had a more pleasurable time than her class. Because of my exposure to languages at school, I decided to take Gaelic, the national language of Scotland and Ireland, at home on my own. After college, at VT, I plan on taking my master's degree in environmental science and working with global corporations I will take my experiences with languages gained at Easton Area High School and use them to literally save the world. So, s'il vous plaît, kudasai, bitte, slanion, please, consider me when you're voting for languages. Consider the students like me who really want to learn as many languages as possible and hopefully keep them. So I bid you bonne nuit, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, slan gefol, and good evening.
Good evening. My name is Jackie McGilsky. I am the Vice President of Elementary Ed. I'm on the team that's meeting with the board, but most proudly, I'm a first grade teacher at Tracy Elementary School, which I'm very proud of. But anyway, I just am here to give a little bit positive spin, if you would welcome that, to our meetings that we have had with the board. I want to thank Mr. Myers. I want to thank Mrs. Holzberger. I want to thank Mr. Riley. And I wasn't there, Mrs. Hess, but thank you for also putting your time in. I think this is a positive step forward. We know the traditions in Easton, academics, music, athletics, arts, and languages, and we want to keep that intact. And we look forward to working with you, and we thank you very much for your time. And I was happy to go to bed last night. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Frank Pinnabon. I only know one language. I would like to know more. As many of you know, probably everybody knows, I'm running for the school board, Region 2. In the last month and a half, I spent every day in the rain, on the weekend, every day except Easter, walking, knocking on doors, talking to people in my community. We've knocked over 1,000 doors in just under 2 months. I don't want to get into a lot, plus I don't have the time. I was failed as a student at the Easton Area School District. The majority of the kids I grew up with were failed. We only made it through because we could play sports. Once we got out of school, we had to teach ourselves the basic skills. If we take sports away, you're putting 1,600 to 2,000 of my kids on the street. If you take music away, they're going to the street. If you take art away, they're going to the street. I had the wonderful, wonderful opportunity today to visit the Easton Area Academy. I wish the Academy was around when I was in school. I'm doing very well in my life now, but it would probably have been a lot sooner had there been an Easton Area Academy. We can't cut programs like these. I believe 75% of the Academy comes from South Side and the West Ward. Those kids are going to get lost in the cracks if we cut the Academy and we cut the athleticism. Again, I was failed as a student of the Easton Area School District. And by the grace of God and people in my life, I was able to get to where I'm at now. We can't fail any more children. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rochelle Kale. I'm from Palmer Township. I'm a 1998 graduate and a proud graduate of Easton Area High School. I'm also a Spanish teacher in a public school in New Jersey, and the reason why I'm a Spanish teacher is because of one of my Spanish teachers that I had right here at junior high at Shawnee, and then she bumped up to Easton High School. I'm a big supporter of world languages, and I'm very disappointed in the fact that that you're considering cutting a lot of the world languages. You heard from your students tonight. It would be very disappointing, okay? And I'm actually, like I said, a Spanish teacher, so I'm all for Spanish, but I'm also for all the other languages too that you have to offer. And you guys actually offer a lot more than, I'm sorry. Okay. But anyway, back to the languages. As far as ESL, I feel it's very important. You showed us the demographics this evening. You said about you have 508 ESL students. They speak 32 other languages. Right there is a need for ESL. So we have to open up our eyes and, really try and save that program. I really would like you to reconsider your cuts. I understand times are different. 1998 when I graduated and I had my education versus now, I totally get that. I'm also going to ask you to accept the proposal from the EAEA. I feel that it's very reasonable. I myself am very involved in my own association in my public school. I know what it's like to go through negotiations. We just reached a sidebar agreement, and the reason why I'm telling you this is because it actually creates a better atmosphere when you come into an agreement, and when you can get the Board of Education, and when you can get the association to work together. Yesterday, we just passed our budget in New Jersey for my school district. And the reason why is because we work together. We are powerful people when we work together for our children. Thank you very much.
You're being awfully kind tonight, folks. With that said, we're going to move on to item 15, correspondence to be acknowledged. Do we have any? We don't? Okay, let's move on. Miscellaneous. Ad hoc reports of committees. Mr. Riley.
Mr. President, IU20 last night, on April 27th, prior to the meeting, they had their third in the series of webinars for the introduction to the operations of the IU. Last night's webinar was on financing and budgeting of the IU. If anyone on the board or the public is interested in finding out how the IU does its budget and for operations and for billing of services, I recommend you to go to that webinar and check it out. Also last night, we approved 3 salary resolutions. The Executive Director, Assistant Executive Director, Director of Business Services, and Director of Human Resources and Research Services, along with the Act 93 administrators and the non-union employees, have agreed to cut their salary increases in half for this year and take a freeze, for next year, and take a freeze for the subsequent year. There's also other negotiations going on, and we feel confident that the IU20 will be able to come back to the board, not with a 1.7% increase in their budget, but a 0% increase in their budget. Also, last night, we were able to have a presentation by one of our IU20 instructors. He specializes in many things, but one thing that he takes pride in is his theater arts program. Their program is a partnership with Touchstone Theaters. Their production and their program was nominated by the Lehigh Valley Arts Coalition, and they received an award for educational excellence in theater arts. Any other business, just normal business that was taken care of, and nothing special to report.
Thank you. Eastern Area Public Library, Mr. Riley.
Mr. President, the Eastern Public Library met on April 12th at Palmer Township branch. Normal business was conducted. We were given information about the expansion that's going on out there. There's such a demand for services from the library that they needed to expand out there. Those expansions are come at no cost to the school district. They're being borne by the Township of Palmer, and they'll commence shortly. Records of use and circulation continue at the library. People are going there, using the services. They're still celebrating their 200th anniversary. If anyone from the board or the public would like to have their name imprinted on a book, which will be there for another 100 years, because we have books from 100 years ago with people's names in it who contributed to the library, I recommend you avail yourself to that option. And there was, let's see, nothing other special to the for the interest of the board. But in the audience tonight, we have the library director and we have the president of the library board. If anyone would like to talk to them after the meeting, I'm sure they'll be glad to speak with you. That's all.
Mr. Riley, as an alternate delegate, especially last year when you were in the service, the lady who spoke failed to mention a very big group, the senior citizens that use that, who don't have computers at home, who sometimes can't afford the newspapers. The time I've been there, especially in mid-afternoon, they're loaded with senior citizens and people using a computer, going there, how to learn how to use it. And the people there are very dedicated, but we must include the senior citizens. The working poor and the real poor and lower middle class do use that, but you have to include the senior citizens in that list.
Mr. President, I have one alibi. As you know, the library is home to an extensive collection of historical documents linked to the area. One of the most important pieces we have is the first flag in the United States to have stars and stripes, and it became the Easton City flag. That original flag was hanging on a wall, and after an evaluation of an appraisal, it was recommended that we display the flag differently so it would be around for another 200 years. The recommendation was take it off the wall and lay it on a flat table and cover the table with a light barrier so there'd be no more deterioration of the flag. We went out for bids. The winning bid for the construction of the table was R.H. Shawn and Sons on 25th Street in Easton. They constructed an aluminum table for the flag and then turned around and donated the total cost, well over $1,000 of material and labor, donated that cost of that table to the library. So now they can display the flag in a protected environment, and so it'll be around for another 200 years.
Thank you, Mr. Riley.
And one quick thing about that, real quick. Easton is one of the 3 cities that the Constitution was originally read. On July 8th, it was Trenton, Philadelphia, and Easton. In the German newspapers at the time, it said that Easton Standard was present, but they didn't describe what it looked like. If they would have described the flag, it predates the Betsy Ross flag. And that's the important thing about that flag. It predates the Betsy Ross flag, and I think that's an honor for our city to have that.
Thank you. CIT, Dr. Volcano.
Yeah, they're still working on getting everything through for their solar project. Of course, you know, we're working with the township. We had some differences with Palmer. The Forks Township is very supportive of us, but there's some things we just have to do. And we do have a huge grant to cover it, and we hope that will save 20 to 40% for the Votech school, and we got them down to an overestimate of about 9 cents a kilowatt hour that we would be receiving. So it will possibly generate money for us. All those details aren't done yet, but that's where we stand, and we're very proud of the school now being refurbished for 1 year. I welcome everybody to come up. Just call the office and tell them you're coming up. And you want to see a school that shines, that is certainly a school that shines. And 230 of our high school students go to that school. That's all I
NCC
have to
Board,
say.
Dr. Volcano.
What? Oh, okay. Well, you know that it was a very sad meeting last month when Dr. Scott offered his resignation. He is going to stay on until we find somebody. But in the 8 years that he's been there, and it will be 9, he has done wonders for that college. We're considered the best community college in the state of Pennsylvania and one of the top 10 in the country. It's not an easy college to go to. You know, you could get in because we guarantee you an education, but you don't get out. It's just not something you walk through. And that stigma has to be totally wiped away, because it is a college that you have to earn those credits, and they have some very, very outstanding teachers, and professors or assistant professors or whatever. So I'm very proud when I go there to represent Easton. Let's put it that way.
Okay, with that said, PSBA, Mrs. Leonard Ellison, who's not here. Aquatic Task Force Committee, which is also Mrs. Ellison. No. Jennifer, you have anything for
I know that the last meeting had to be canceled at the last minute, and I'm not sure if a new date has been set for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mrs. Holzberger. TIF, which is Mrs. Ellison, and she's not here. We hope she recovers quickly. Next is the Facility Utilization Ad Hoc Committee, which is myself. I must apologize. With everything going on, that's something I just put on the back burner. I will activate that again, and I will contact those people. Board members, miscellaneous ad hoc reports. Anybody want to say anything at this point?
No, I would. I just want to thank the board members and our teachers for getting together and spending the countless hours to try and come to an agreement. And I also wanted to thank the transportation employees for the memorandum of understanding also.
Thank you. Anybody else? At that, we're going to move on to standing committees. AIE Committee. Mrs. Hess. A little closer. There you go. Policy Committee, Ms. Holzberger.
We're on for May 5th, but we're not sure if we need to meet at this point. We have a few things that are being looked at. We might just postpone them for a while.
Okay. Athletic Committee.
May 12th.
That was quick. Ms. Fisher. Finance Committee. Ms. Buildings and Grounds, May 19th. With that said, we have come to the end of our program. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there anybody who wants to stick around?
Enjoy the wedding.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you and good night.